we always record these calls and we put them up on YouTube, usually by the start of the following week. If you were so good that you want to see yourself again, or if you missed it and want to see who was on the week that you missed it. Normally I'm at home in Cockermouth, but this morning I am in ArtGene, which is the most amazing space in Barrow, where all sorts of incredibly interesting creative things happen. And I was just saying to Maddie about where I am at this room at the moment. I'm going to introduce you to Meg shortly, but I'm just going to show you, well, first of all, I'm going to show you a fantastic monkey on the wall here. If you can see a great monkey on the wall there, that's someone's office through there, where a beautiful cup of coffee was produced for me very recently. Some sort of palm trees there. And then this bit here, this amazing collection of cacti, cacti. I'm not quite sure what the right English is there, but can you see those cacti? And as Maddie was just saying, these came, the geraniums were your grandfather. No, a cactus was to keep your grandfather in or intruders out. And then this is what's come from these.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I love all the different structures of them, but yeah, just a bit of a joke about my granddad being kept in the house by my grandmother from a cactus. Anyway, you need to have been there.
It was great. Anyway, thank you very much to folk at ArtGene for hosting us this morning. And I'm going to introduce you to Meg Bowyer in a second. He's going to come and sit next to me. I'm just going to let Chris Dent in through the door there. Because we're here because there's a fantastic new exhibition just opening upstairs in the gallery, and where Kate and Haoyue are at the moment. We're going to show you a little bit of that exhibition in this beautiful old building, which, if my memory serves me correctly, was an educational institution here on Barrow. What was it?
It was the old tech college.
It was the old tech college. Meg, come in, because you know far more about it than I do. It was the old tech college in Barrow, and it's a beautiful building with all sorts of other bits to it that other people occupy as well. So we're going to hear from, there's Meg. Say hello to Meg. There she is. She works here. We're also going to hear this morning from Liz Critchley in Signal, just up the road from ArtGene, and Felicity Hammond, who's in her studio in London, who again is part of an exhibition called Reactor that opened recently, and we're going to find out about that. We're going to meet Lee Mattinson and Louis Ingham, who are sitting there in their place of work in Newcastle. They've got a really interesting project taking place at Brougham Hall, which is that amazing old building just outside Penrith, where all sorts of things happen. Creatives are parked up there. There's a nice cafe there as well. And if you like Arthur's Round Table stories, it's got something to do with that. We've got a lovely audio clip to listen to there as well. And then finally, we're going to hear from Francis Prendeville in Kendal there, who's a writer, who's got a workshop coming up quite soon, and has had some really interesting things to think about as far as how you go about writing and where writing stimulus comes from as well. So we're going to hear from Francis as well. Hello, Amy. Very nice to have you with us. Chris, very nice to have you with us as well. So that is the plan for this morning. What could go wrong? A few slides to see, a few bits of audio to hear as well. But let's start off here in ArtGene. And we are going to meet the lovely Meg Bowyer. Footballer, Lee Bowyer. That's the only other Bowyer I know. No relation?
No relation.
No relation. Okay.
Bow makers, so there's quite a few of us.
Okay, come on in. I'm afraid you have to get a bit closer to me there. Right, so tell us what you do first of all, Meg, here in ArtGene. You've been here since the start of the year.
Yeah, I've just been here since January. Feels like I've been here for years, which I think is a good thing. I'm program associate, so I get to do a bit of everything. Lots of curatorial work, planning of events, and when the weather allows, I get to sit on the allotment on Walney Island and do weeding and think about plants.
Where the beautiful allotment soup takes place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what were you doing before you came to ArtGene?
Ooh, everything. I've sort of dotted around lots of arts organisations in Cumbria. So I've done some collections work at the Armid. I've been an artist at Tully. I've done some producing work in Lancaster. I do some opera all over the place.
Portfolio career.
Yes.
Okay.
Been at brewery for a little bit.
So you know the art scene pretty well, actually,
so
in Cumbria.
Everyone I meet, I've met some other time before, and I can never figure out exactly which one I know them from.
All right. Rough Terrain, which I have a flyer for right here, is the exhibition that we're here to talk about today. And at the bottom on the flyer, I can see it says Arts Council England, Cumbria Arts and Culture Network, See It to Be It, and Westmoreland Furnace Council. So this looks like and also I can see about 10 or even 12 names of artists involved here. So first of all, how did Rough Terrain come about? I know Chris talked about this on a Friday call a few weeks ago when I wasn't here, but now it's actually opening and we're going to have a look around with Kate in a second. Tell us a bit, just remind us what Rough Terrain is and how it's come about.
Yeah, so Rough Terrain is an exhibition of 10 artists that all have links to Cumbria. So some of them were born in Cumbria, work elsewhere, some of them are still here, or some of them have moved to Cumbria, and they all make work that's pertinent to Cumbrian issues and Cumbrian landscape. And it's interested in Cumbria as a sort of a place of many facets, not only big, beautiful hills, but interesting little towns, odd brownfield sites, nuclear factories, all of the good stuff. So it kind of brings together all of these different artists, shows what young and mid-career artists are up to in Cumbria at the minute. And there's some sculpture, video, drawing, writing, loads of different things.
All
so
right.
It's a big sort of overview of arts in Cumbria, in Cumbria at the minute.
Has it been like herding cats?
It has been like herding cats.
Okay. And has
a few people.
Has everybody come? Has it all come together in the end?
It's almost come together today.
Okay, and the launch
So you'll see
event
something.
is
Yeah, so we're launching tonight. It's at 6:30 in the Nantate Centre in Barrow and Furness, and that will be sort of a little bit of an introduction to the work, some speeches, chance to meet a lot of the artists as well. It's a totally free event. Everybody is welcome. And then on the Saturday as well, we've got an event called Navigating Practice, where a few of those artists will speak a bit more in depth about their practice, the work that's on show, their experience working in arts in Cumbria. ArtGene will speak a little bit about kind of residency style work and work that we've done with communities in Barrow. And that's also a free event from 11 until 2. And then you can head down the road to Signal, who are having some events in the afternoon and the evening as well.
okay. I love it when things are joined up.
We've been calling it the Big Fun Mega Barrow Arts Day. We didn't think of a very catchy title, but maybe should have.
All right. Well, let's go upstairs. So again, if you've not been to ArtGene, I just commend it to you, because not only are they really lovely people that look after you, but it's actually a really interesting building with all sorts of different things on walls and sort of legacy projects. We're sitting at a table which was part of a project Maddie was just telling me. This was to do with sort of. Well, you explain, Maddie. The tables that I'm sitting at, there's about 16 tables square with grey surfaces on that I'm sitting at, all with beautiful carvings on them. What was this project from, Maddie?
So this was on Peel Island, in the pub in Peel Island, and we did a People's Museum there. So there's a whole series of tables, big cabinet of curiosities, beer maps and maps. This was about 9-10 years ago. And so we decommissioned that work, and then what do you do with it? You put it in a skip, or you put it around a big building that you've got and you use it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you're saying about later on in the call, the round table, Arthurian round tables. Behind me, I don't know which one's to name, we've got some gorgeous big round tables that were part of that project as well, that also came out of the pub.
Yeah, great stuff. I've
So
had
those-
fights in that pub.
I was going to say that big round table was so that when you're the king of Peel, you
Yeah.
can sit in the middle, and part of the ceremony of being knighted is that you get beer poured over you. So that table has a whole set of little holes in it, so that the beer can run out, so it doesn't
Excellent.
rest on the top.
There's
Practical.
a chair, isn't there, that you're only the king of Peel is allowed to sit in his pub.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, proper historic artifact that's covered in carvings, hence the carving of the tables to echo that. And that big chair is made out of an enormous old barrel, so it looks
beautiful.
fantastic.
Yeah, what a nice day out in South Cumbria. Get across to Peel Island. Right, let's cross then. Let's go upstairs. So we're going to talk to Kate now, Kate Parry, who is up there in the exhibition space. Kate, tell us a bit. The See It to Be It and CACN have got a bit of input into this exhibition, haven't they?
Yeah, Rough Terrain is one of the partner projects that's about creating more opportunities for young and emerging artists. So yeah, we're quite close to it, and that's why we wanted to be here today, actually, and see the final stages of installation and everybody running around and shifting ladders and whatnot.
So just describe to us where you are now.
I am on the upstairs landing in ArtGene. It's such a beautiful, beautiful space. We wanted to start here and then take you into the exhibition gallery. Do you know what? My arms are really aching now because I've been standing like this for half an hour. But I'll press on.
Well, go on then. You've got a job to do as a camerawoman, I think.
That's
Okay.
showbiz, Kate. That's showbiz.
Exactly.
Okay, so here we are in the foyer outside the exhibition, and here is Highway.
I'm going to pin your screen, so you're big on my, and I commend that to everybody else. You pin, you'll get nice and big for Highway. So off you go.
Just introduce yourself, Highway.
Hello, I'm Hao Yue. I'm co-curating this terrain show, and I'd just like to give you a bit of info about the actual setup in the gallery and not showing the whole scene.
No, because we obviously want you to come to the exhibition in the course of the next little while. So here we go. Let's move into the exhibition space without tripping up on my... Here we go. Here's one of the aforementioned orange dots, I think. Such a beautiful, beautiful gallery. If you've never been before, it's worth a trip, even without these amazing works of art inside them. So here we are. This is a photograph and an image that I recognise from the poster. Tell me about this piece of work and the artist who made it.
Okay, so that's from artist Iona Ford, as you can tell from the poster as well. She's originally from Edgemont, and now she moved to Manchester, and that's also one of the reasons why she made the series of work here displayed in the gallery. This one is called Scarecrow Brass, and she originally made a performance dressing in these scarecrows and walking around in the city of Manchester, and then bring it back to the place where it should belongs to. And she actually, she's a really emerging artist. She's freshly graduated from University of Manchester School of Art. And she has this family tradition of studying art like for already 3 generations. And this time I'm really happy to have her in this exhibition as well as one of the emerging artists, like been supported by CACN.
Great. Okay, let's move around a little bit because it's a mixture of all kinds of different visual arts disciplines. There's video, there's some digital art, and then there is this. Tell me about this.
Yeah, actually, it's not freshly new work. We actually have the artists remake the work at ArtGene and collecting some of the fresh and old local materials from the charity shops. As you can tell, there's different levels of the materials, whether some are old, like a few years ago, and from old house, the artist has connection with. And these are sort of new, I would say, from the charity shop.
Just tell me who the artist is.
The artist is Marissa Frame, and she's originally based in Kendal and now working in Carlisle. All artists here all have this close connection to Cumbria, whether they are from Cumbria or have works linked to that.
So these are all pieces of broken furniture?
Yes, and just parts of these Victorian decorative style of furnitures. And these are the brown cements, and we're mixing them together. So it's the work is called The Woods and the Trees. So it's a way of artists utilize these industrial materials to create a simulation of the actual the nature and how we respond to that. Okay,
let's carry on. We want to just take, I'm trying not to trip up. Let's head over here to CJ's work. We heard from CJ on a previous call. That's right, we'll just close the door and move the ladder. Okay, so we heard from CJ, I think a couple of weeks ago. Just for those people who were not on that call, tell us a little bit about CJ's work.
I think CJ's in the call right now as well.
Hello, CJ.
Okay, so it's that's the nuclear priesthood, like CJ trying to depict here. And this whole wall is like a sketchbook of his mind. As you can tell, that's the being systems here in Barrow, and also some of the paints and prints and also some costumes he made. He's imagining about a world like being shaped by nuclear waste and how people live among that and reflect towards that. And you can explore a bit more when you get into the exhibition as well.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want people to come and see it. I don't want to spoil anybody's thunder, but there are some really quite spooky looking, evocative pieces here in CJ's work. I'm just going to do a quick skim round the rest without showing you too much. And just finish off, Highway, how's it been for you? Because you're relatively new, aren't you, to ArtGene? How has this experience been?
Oh, it's really nice. It was quite enjoyable, and having seen all those artists and creative working in Cumbria and how they try to reshape the landscape as well. And I mean, the landscape, I mean, it's not only nature, but also cultural landscape.
Yeah, great.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. It's really nice to look around. You know, I think we'll get you a tripod next time, Kate, but otherwise, you know, 9 out of 10 for camera work as well.
Thank you. I really don't have the biceps for this, but it is beautiful in here. And I am just going to take a good look around when this call finishes today. And I would encourage everybody to call in. I'm afraid I can't remember the date when it closes, but no doubt Meg will confirm that.
26th of June.
26th of June.
Yeah, and we open to a private appointment until the 3rd of July. Oh, and also, if you are around, we do have some public programs you can join. So as you see from the artist Iona 4, the one in the poster, she'll be doing a mask making workshop on the 27th of June. It's a Saturday, so anyone away from work, welcome to come. It's in the afternoon from 2 p.m. And also we got another artist. Oh, that's the one we haven't showcased here. But we will have a screening and Z-making workshop on the 30th of June. Okay, so all very welcome to come.
Because that is your job, isn't it? To help more people get to see these things. Great. Thank you very much. That's it from us.
So, Kate, just remind us again, Arts Council funded See It to Be It, which is a project that CACN is running for 2 years. We're about a kind of quarter of the way through that now. Just to remind us again, the See It to Be It input into this exhibition.
So a modest amount of funding has come in through the See It to Be It project to support the exhibition so that we can make sure that the artists are properly paid. That's something that I know ArtGene believe in very strongly, as do we. But this is about creating more opportunities to showcase the work of young artists. It's about creating opportunities to curate and actually conceive and develop the exhibition itself, and more opportunities for young people and everybody in Cumbria to come and see the work of young artists. So there's all sorts of different angles going on, and yeah, it's been a long journey, this, and it's brilliant to actually be standing in among it right now.
Yeah, we had Alison Critchlow on this call about 3 weeks ago. She's a visual artist based at Bowness on Solway. Some of you might be familiar with her work. And she's just had a very beautiful exhibition on at Intro in Paternoster Row in Carlisle. And she was saying one of the reasons that she wanted to do that exhibition was just to try and stimulate the idea of a permanent contemporary arts space in Carlisle, which doesn't really exist at the moment. So it's just great to see this stuff going on in the south of the county as well. And I always think, you know, there's actually a bit more of a contemporary art scene here than I'd say there is in Carlisle. And it'd be great to spread that further around the county. I always think what ArtGene are doing in Signal as well, clearly, are really interesting, modern, you know, kind of future-looking, forward-looking things. And it'd be great to get a bit more of that going on around the county. And that's partly what See It to Be It is trying to promulgate as well. All right. Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you very much, Hayue. Good luck with the rest of the preparation today. And Meg, it must be nice to sort of see all this coming to fruition.
Yes, definitely. As you say, 10 artists wrangling together. It's been a lot of balancing. It's really lovely to see it all up in the space. Excited to get all the last bits together.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations. And Maddie, of course, on the call as well, who's the big boss here. In her very creative looking space there with is that like an alarm clock? No, it's actually telling the right time, isn't it? I'm a great believer in public.
Just a clock from the building. I found it in the basement when we came into the building. It's a lovely clock. My little office in my studio.
Very nice. I'm on a mission to get all public clocks in Cumbria actually telling the right time.
Don't look at that one then.
I know that's completely wrong, isn't it? You're right. Yeah. Okay. But next time you go past a public clock in Cumbria, I bet you it won't be telling the right time. Anyway, tell me about it if you see that. Take a picture. Thank you very much, all people from ArtGene. Let's move on. Let's just go down the road, literally about 150 to 200 yards down the road here in Barrow to Signal, which is where another great exhibition, Reactor, which has recently opened, Felicity Hammond's exhibition, which Liz Critchley, is Liz still here? She is there somewhere, I'm sure.
Hi. Yes,
there she is. Liz, nice to see you. Nice to have you with us. Tell us a bit remind us what Signal is, first of all, because it's had a bit of a makeover in recent times. And tell us a bit about this exhibition, and then we'll hear from Felicity as well.
Yeah, so Signal Former Media, we are literally just down the road from ArtGene. If I put my head out now, I would I would wave at you all. I think you should do it, actually. Just do it. Put your head through out the window now, Tom, and we'll have a joint wave. And we're an arts organisation, based in Barrow, in fairness. And we have recently had some Arts Council capital funding, and we managed to move our offices downstairs, kind of create a really welcoming space, and also do a little bit of work to our gallery as well. So say we opened in September, and this is our third exhibition in the new space, Felicity Hammond's Reactor. So I'm just going to very quickly do a little spin on my chair because I'm actually in the exhibition space now, and I like doing this. It's fun. There you go.
Oh, I like that. That was very good.
You like that?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm sat in the exhibition space at the moment amongst Reactor, which is an artwork we launched on the 28th of May by Felicity Hammond, who's going to talk a little bit about the work shortly. Felicity, are you still on? I'm just checking because I can't see you. Are you there? She's there.
Sorry, my microphone was off. Hello.
Yeah. So Felicity worked with us back in 2017 on another artwork called Defence of Industry, which she won a Lumen Prize for. And Reactor kind of follows on from this original theme. Thank you for putting my slides up, Tom. That's great. So we've been really excited to work with Felicity and community participants on this project. And it's so great to be here today with the other Barrow Arts organisations, just to tell you about the work and also some of the events that are happening in Barrow this weekend on, I think Meg's aptly named Mega. We should add more words to it each time, Meg, I think. Meg's Mega Art Day. I don't know, Barrow Art Day. So I'm going to pass you over to Felicity now to tell you a little bit about Reactor, and then I'll jump back on later just to talk about some of the things that are happening this weekend and also in July, if that's okay.
Great, thanks so much, Liz. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to being in Barrow tomorrow. So I won't. I'm going to just say a couple of words about the exhibition and what it's about, but I'll also be doing an artist talk, which I think Liz will mention as well, tomorrow. So please do come along. I'll be talking for about probably 45 minutes to an hour, introducing some of my sort of practice that existed before making this work, and then going into depth a little bit more about this installation. So the work, this is my second, as Liz said, it's the second exhibition I've done at Signal. The first one was back in 2018, 18. So, when I spent quite a lot of time in Barrow, and, like many people probably visiting, was really struck by, the sort of shipbuilding yard and the submarine sheds that really dominate the landscape as you walk around Barrow. So particularly this time, I was thinking about my recent work about artificial intelligence and autonomous technologies, and how that's being implemented within shipbuilding and new submarines. So I've made this new film that is made from the perspective of a submarine that has just become aware of its own autonomy. So this is a speculative fictional piece. Hopefully we don't have submarines going around that are aware, that have this awareness. But, the way that I work is often within a sort of speculative fictional context. So taking things that are happening now, which is implementing autonomous technologies within a military context, and thinking about what that means, what are the kind of ethical frameworks we might have to consider if that takes place, what happens if the submarine can think for itself. So it's a 10-minute looped film that it sort of sits somewhere between a kind of simulated version of Barrow, but it also sort of isn't Barrow. It could kind of be anywhere. And in that respect, it's, I'm trying to think about simulated training software that's often used within military context as well. So it's set within this installation that's kind of like a control room. Lots of the ideas around the work is about autonomy and control. So the kind of the control room felt like a really it felt like the kind of right set for the work to take place. And then maybe if we go to the next slide, you can see that also the sort of performative aspect became quite an important element as well. So I worked with fantastic Theatre Factory. So Rachel from Theatre Factory was actually the voiceover in the film. So I worked with them for that aspect. She became the voice of the submarine, and then also worked with 5 brilliant actors from Theatre Factory as well to sort of inhabit this kind of character and the idea of the idea of the worker within this context. So what does it mean to kind of be the worker controlling the submarine, or the submarine controlling the worker? And they inhabited this really quite amazing space, sort of between machine and human, and thinking what it means to give over control. There's a lot of sort of, kind of looking at the screen, looking at the set, looking at these kind of control panels which didn't actually have a function. So a lot of it's to do with kind of labour as well, and work. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I could keep going on and on, but maybe I should stop. But maybe I'll just say one other thing is that the sort of ideas for the project as well, and the kind of narrative came out of earlier on in the project, came out of a workshop where I worked with people that were kind of connected to the shipyard in various ways, whether they worked there or had family members there, had retired from work there. So a lot of the perspectives for the narrative and the script came from sort of perspectives and local perspectives on the shipyard. That was a really great aspect as well. So maybe shall I head back to Liz to talk about some of the events?
Thank you. I've just realised how shiny I am as well. I've got this shiny forehead. Please don't look at my forehead, everyone. Yeah, so these are a few photos from the launch on the 28th of May. So we've been using the space actually for more than just kind of people walking around and looking at the work. We also hosted a poetry event on Wednesday, an open mic event where people got up and talked about their own reaction to Reactor as well, and it was aptly named Reaction, so you can just see a few of the images from there as well. But this weekend, ourselves and ArtGene, I'm just going to change the slide again because it's just got a little list of thanks, Iona, that's great. So this weekend, ourselves and ArtGene have an Artist Talks takeover. So obviously ArtGene 11 till 12, and then Felicity, as she said, is here at 6 p.m. And we've also got a few places left as well on Felicity's workshop at 3 p.m, should you like to join us. And then on the 18th of July, we've got the brilliant Artfly joining us for a family-friendly day, bringing their wizardry and magical interactive devices that, quite frankly, blow my mind. Is Chris on? He's there. He'll be planning something now. It's probably like some kind of escape or portal to Atlantis. So
let me cut across you there, Liz. Chris, what are you going to do? Tell us. You probably haven't even planned it yet.
It's taking form behind me. It will be finished, Liz. Honest. We're sort of imagining Captain Nemo's Nautilus cabinets, so his lab sort of come to life. So going a bit steampunky with it. Jenny wants to dress up, so yeah.
Jenny always wants to dress up.
It'll be absolutely brilliant, but I still I'm hoping there'll be some portal created while you're doing it, Chris, and we can go somewhere else just for the day. That would be really nice.
Okay, I'll add a portal on the end.
Thanks for that, Chris.
And Liz, are you hoping that people, who have worked in the shipyard or who are working in the shipyard now are going to come and see this?
Well, they already have, yeah. No, it's really exciting. We've had people, we've had engineers and all kinds of people, and people have written in the comment book that they've worked on submarines. So yeah, it's had quite a reach at the moment. But yeah, just everybody. We're really looking forward to it, young and old. Come and see us, and it is such an interesting space. I'm sat in it now, and it's kind of theatrical. It's brilliant. So thank you, Felicity.
And Felicity, I'm assuming that, I think you mentioned this, but I'm going to ask you again. You presumably had quite a few conversations again with people from the shipyard to inform you about your awareness and sort of thinking about being a submarine or being on a submarine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kind of research, the work that I make takes place over quite a long period of time. It's quite research led. So I think also just having had the experience of spending some time in Barrow before, it was really nice to reconnect with people, and especially, Signal have got an amazing set of volunteers that, and it does seem like anybody that lives or has worked in Barrow has got some kind of connection to the shipyard in some way. So anyone that I met over the times that I've been back and forth has been able to give me some insight, and whether that's to do with, working, in sort of like very specific sort of shipbuilding context to, working with CAD to the kind of more engineering side. And then, spoken to others in the kind of more, talking more about the kind of more recent technologies around sort of embedded artificial intelligence as well, which has kind of come from slightly other streams of research. But yeah, really sort of pooling together lots of different conversations to inform the work.
Great stuff. And Liz, and I'm going to bring in Maddie here as well. I've kind of touched upon this in calls over the years about when I come to Barrow, and it's sort of I get a sense that people coordinate and work together quite well. And talking about obviously Rachel Ashton been involved in all of this as well. Is there still that sense of you're much better when you kind of collaborate and work together in this part of the world?
Yeah.
Should I speak for you, Maddie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we all do our own amazing things, but it's really nice when we come together. And I think because we all do very different things, it's fabulous that Theatre Factory could have been involved in this process of this exhibition. They're in the building there, so it's good that those amazing actors have had a chance to do something really quite unusual and different. But yeah, I mean, any time that we can join together is good. Sometimes it happens by just, oh my God, we're having to do it at the same time. But we also did a few years ago. We had a big exhibition. Fawn had a whole shop that they'd done some work with.
Full of noises.
Full of noises. Theatre Factory did a performance event. It all came together as this most amazing weekend. And Signal also had an exhibition on. And it was quite interesting because I was walking down the street and somebody from the Arts Council said, well, this is just astonishing to have this festival day. And I thought, oh, okay, we'd not even thought of it as a festival day, but there you go, and also Barrow had an event on at the same time. So people were going from one place to another. And I think that has a lovely feel to it. Sometimes towns don't get taken over by artworks, but those things, happened there on that day. And it's a nice thing to do. A lot of effort for everybody.
Sure.
But when that happens, it's pretty good.
And speaking of Arts Council, the big boss, Darren Henley's been in town, hasn't he, the last few days in Barrow? What was all that about?
So he came to be part of an event which was coordinated with the University of Cumbria, looking at the future of Barrow somehow. So it was a sort of a two-way thing with Arts Council and University of Cumbria, and various sort of arts practitioners and arts organisations were invited to that. And it was in the new university campus, which is they're now currently starting to do courses in engineering and sort of nurse stuff. I don't know quite what, healthcare. So it was interesting to be in that place. So a whole day conference, and then he came to visit various sort of organisations. I think he came down to see you guys, Liz, over at Signal. He popped over to us. Kate spent quite a piece of time chatting to him about all of the See It to Be It work. So it's a nice to have a royal visit in that way. We had the honour of making food for him from our allotment soup fair. So that's always a bit of a
What did you give him?
gig.
What did you give him?
He had fantastic potato salad from the new potatoes, all the green leaves that are currently growing. So yeah, it was nice and healthy. So that was good.
But I just sort of bring this up because it's important to know about the sort of behind the scenes stuff and the advocacy and the championing and the shenanigans that goes on to make sure that those that have a bit of money sometimes to give to organisations know what actually their money is spent on and are able to listen and witness that work as well. And it's about leaving impressions, it's about making contacts, it's about building relationships. Arts Council really matters. It's going through a few shenanigans at the moment. It's got a new chair in charge now, or imminently. Obviously, Let's Create is evolving as a strategy, and I think it's important to be across all this stuff. And when we can actually put stuff in front of them in Cumbria, which is the far-flung corner of the nation, that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is rare to get Darren Henley up here, so it's all stops out to see him and give him a good time, but show him what's going on. Also, just in that lineup, so we had Kate here, but we also had forget his name, who's just done the work at Signal, the performance, lovely lad, young man.
Caleb.
Caleb, yeah.
So Caleb spent quite a bit of time chatting, which was really good. And I think Darren got a great deal from that with the sort of See It to Be It sort of hat on about young people having opportunities. So I think that was really, really nice. And he was quite scared. And I said, don't be scared. He's just a bloke.
Darren was scared, or Caleb?
Oh, well, Caleb.
He's also on the advisory group for See It to Be It, and is a really impressive individual, and great to have him as an advocate for what this is all about. Great. Well, thank you ever so much, Liz. And Maddie. Liz, was there anything else you want to say or Felicity about Reactor? I think a link's been put into chat by Iona about the
Yeah, that's fine.
exhibition.
Really, it was just that I was going to share the link, but then Iona kindly did it for me. Thank you so much, Iona.
Great stuff, and good luck. And I aim to pop in on my way back in about half an hour to say hello. If that's all right.
See you soon. Yeah, that'd be great. See you
All
soon.
right, thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Right, well, let's cross from Barrow to Brougham Hall via Newcastle, because there is the lovely Lee Mattinson and Louis Ingham. You might remember Lee. Lee wrote, he was the playwright behind Steel, which was a fantastic piece of theatre that did the rounds in Cumbria, a couple of years ago now, having been produced at Theatre by the Lake.
That's right. Thanks, Tom.
Is it right, Lee? Yeah, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it was. I think it was on 2 years ago, and then we toured it last year. It did like a national tour, which was lush. So yeah, it was joyous. I loved it. It was a great experience. Nice to take work into everywhere, including London. So good crack.
It was a brilliant piece about two young lads from Workington with a great backstory and quite a lot of comedy in it as well. But a really reflective piece about Cumbria and growing up in Cumbria and etc. etc. If you haven't seen Steel, look out for it because I'm sure it'll be coming around again. Anyway, Lee has got many strings to his bow, and tell us a bit about this project that's taking place, Lee, at Brougham Hall.
So this project is called 10 Times Table, and it was commissioned by English Heritage. We've been working on it for about the last 8 months. So it's me and Louis run a kick called North Star Co-Design. So we're based in Newcastle, but we work across the whole of the north. So we've done a few projects in Cumbria. We work a lot in Biker and different areas in Newcastle. And this opportunity came up from English Heritage. They're running a program called Community Connections. So it was to kind of look at one of their sites and think about how you could create a piece of artwork that would sit on or alongside or around that site to kind of just support the kind of visitor experience. So we saw that and we were thinking about King Arthur's Round Table. A lot of our work happens around tables with community members and food and conversation. So we were like, what if we took that as an idea, worked with 4 different community groups in Penrith, kind of explored the idea that you experience a kind of imaginary cultural dinner party. We were inspired by Top Girls by Carol Churchill to go, what if we brought all these ideas from the last 1500 years to this table? What would that sound like as an experience to kind of go, where are we at now and where are we going next? So like it was epic. So we launched it on King Arthur's Round Table with silent disco headphones in March. We had like a listening party where we all stood in a circle and listened to it, and it was fabulous. And then it was great. So English Heritage gave us a little bit more funding to relaunch it at Brougham Hall, where we're also installing some listening stations so that visitors to Brougham Hall can pop into their Tudor Buyer, their new Tudor Buyer. It's going to live in there. So when you visit, and you can go and you can there'll be an MP3 player and some headphones, and you can sit and experience it there.
And Louis, sorry, not Louis. Louis, yes, Louis. I'm getting my Louis and my Lees mixed up.
All right.
What's your role been in all of this? And then we're going to listen to a bit of an audio clip, which I think is an example of what you can hear. But tell us a bit about yourself, Louis, first of all.
Well, Lee and I met about 10 years ago. We did a commission for Lakes Culture and Cumbria Tourism. At the time, I was the Associate Director at the Dukes and in Lancaster. And we were really interested in reimagining the landscape of Cumbria to excite and inspire new Lakeland poets. So lots of the work that we do, and the reason that I came to Newcastle was to be the Associate Director at Northern Stage, and all of my work is around looking at contemporary practice and how we can bring people who are not in the rooms and not around the tables into the heart of that process, redressing the equity and opportunity and access to what we consider to be art and culture, but also with a real kind of feel of ambition towards that. So for us, in the collaboration through co-design, at North Star Co-Design, is that we've wanted to look through the lens of what is it that we have been told about King Arthur's Round Table and the many mythologies that surround it, and also its political considerations and context in the way it was authored and developed over those many, many years. Who gets to tell the story and what do we consider authorship to be? But also within there, we wanted to look at it, like Lisa's, in kind of an episodic way and to see what are the themes that people wanted to talk about. So we worked with a mechanical engineer who was returning to Shap, to his third generation farm. So we kind of took that from a kind of agrarian lens, looking at kind of Wendell Berry inspired thinking and philosophy. We talked to people who wanted to look at the female lens and the female stories. We talked with people who had grown up near Mabrehenge and King Arthur's Round Table, and how the standing stones in Keswick and Castlereagh really spoke to them and their 5 rhythms dance. And there's kind of all of these different connections, and within there we wanted to ensure that it spoke to now, and as Lisa is casting a kind of lens over the should the planet exist the next 1500 years, and addressing new feudalism and techno-feudalism in some way as well. So what you're going to hear is the end of the last 4 minutes of the piece, where we meet a brilliant woman called Fiona, who looks at the very nature of writing in and of itself, and then moves through a kind of collage that builds towards the end of the piece.
Okay, let's hear that clip.
We invite you to turn your screens off if you want to just have a little time on your own.
Human hands haven't needed to evolve for 2 million years. Capable of tender and vicious acts of hate and love. I find that incredible. As tools, they do the job. How else would we high-five? Things they don't do, they invent. They make and shape and construct. Pens, swords, the jury's still out on which is mightier. Paper, steel, dynamite. They're in part to blame for the story of King Arthur, his chainmail, grail and sword. As Geoffrey of Monmouth wrestled devils and chivalry onto goat-skinned sheets. Hope in every sentence. A villain for the East, a new hero for the West. What of all stories will our hands forever tell? Which unbleached, broken and beautiful bits of 2 million-year-old tales? Their characters' bones, the bits that rattle when all else has blown away.
I choose art. Van Gogh's Barren Cornfields and the Haywain's Dying Light. I choose music, Billie Holiday, Dear Ken John Peel and everything Beethoven ever whistled. I choose culture. To dash into the dark, determined that everyone can play at least Crocodile Rock on the piano. That should all power stations fail, we can photograph our loved ones with a pencil. And in that Merlin-like alchemy of the two, that we never forget what it feels like for our hearts to skip a beat. Not in a heart attack way, in a way of utter wonder. Connected in a way only culture can, across continents, solar systems, centuries.
And the name of the king was mine. Tell me, how do we lighten these dark, dark ages? With my story now just a mist, what are we taking? Between ideas, old and new, stories, fact and fiction, we haunt each other's lives. You hear my voice as I hear yours, on this same damp grass. On 2 sides of the same round table, a constellation of guests. So throw an idea across it, scar it, mark it, seize the day and do what you do well. Care for something. Speak to someone, but somehow make some noise.
We have a duty to heal the wounded land.
Who should own it? What dictates the lines by which we slice it?
People are people are people. Things they don't do, they invent, they make and shape and construct.
The lens we view folk through is inevitably ours.
Why so much waste?
They're complex, wild, vital.
What would they say? The lakes, the tarns, the fells, in treacle-thick Cumbrian pit speak?
Take a breath and break bread.
Across continents, solar systems, centuries.
As the landscape haunts our libraries and border walls collapse, cruel kings lose their heads and rumbling stomachs hush. Communities forge like swords and gather, and AI grails are raised. Make stories, make music, make art, but make change. All you kings and queens and everyone in betweens. The date of the next meeting will be 1 year today. No apologies accepted. Return and tell us how it went. And go.
Powerful stuff. Great, some great voices there. Great voices going through those thoughts as well.
Right.
Lee and
Hello.
Louis, hello again. That was
Hello.
great. It's kind
Thank you.
It's quite difficult to listen, just to listen and switch off, and as you say, turn your screen off
Yeah.
and just concentrate your ears for 4 minutes.
Mm.
But that was magnificent.
Thank
So did
you.
you
Yeah,
write?
really-
You wrote that and obviously recorded it.
Yeah, we kind of worked on it together. So we did workshops, we gathered loads of ideas and thoughts and text and research and all of that. And then what me and Louis do is we just lay everything out and go, right, what's really interesting? What are we following our noses in? How are we going to construct this? And then we'll work together on the script. And then we have a brilliant composer, sound designer called Thomas, who we work with. And then Louis works really close with him and does a similar project with the sound and the audio and that kind of rich tapestry of how we create that oral landscape, I suppose.
We've been doing quite a lot of investigation into how we make the audio accessible. So one of our directors is also BSL interpreter. So she informed the very nature of the frame of what we made in and of itself as well. We originally considered that it might be a series of conversations and voices that exchanged ideas across the table. And Caroline's perspective very much was that will make it much harder in terms of interpretation. So that kind of gave us a different framework to work off. And you also hear one of the voices there is a person called Isaac Gledhill, who grew up in Grasmere and moved to Northumbria to do his degree. And his degree show was all about his experience of being a queer young man in Grasmere and in Kent. So it was really good to kind of hook up with him as well.
Yeah.
You hear Ro Borgia there, who was really interesting in terms of we met them at Carlisle Youth Zone when they were a young person a couple of years ago, and they're just about to go to drama school, but they were quite nervous about playing King Arthur because at first they imagined that would include some kind of cape and Excalibur sword, and so it was interesting to take them through a process to say this is a new version and a new take on what kingship means. I was fascinated to hear about Peel Island and the thrones and all of these unique and peculiar rituals that have been created for patriarchy.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I know Ro well. Okay, right, lovely stuff. This is taking place this weekend. There's a chance to come along to Brougham Hall. Weather doesn't look too bad, which is lovely. Tell us a bit about what's going on there, and then yep.
Sorry. I'm so excited. We'll be there tomorrow with lots of silent disco headphones. So we'll be collectively listening to it at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And then obviously the listening stations will be in resident in the Tudor Byre for the foreseeable. So that's our plan. So if you want to come to Brougham Hall tomorrow, we'll be hanging out there. So come and listen to the whole thing because it's class.
And what a great location for it as well. You can sort of imagine Arthurian sort of things taking place there over the years.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's really nice. It's really nice to stand in a circle and listen to something and be in that stillness and that collective moment of just being present. Like there's real alchemy in that, isn't it? When we initially launched it, we were like, this in and of itself is such an excellent way to experience something new. So it's going to be lush. So hopefully see all your faces there again.
And like many of you in the screen in front of us, trying to keep hold of that sense of in the room or in a space, in a collection of bodies in space together. We're trying desperately to cling on to that experience.
Louis, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having us.
Lovely stuff.
Cheers.
All right, you spoke about writing there, and sometimes I privately award the best backdrop of the morning to somebody. And this morning, often Chris is quite, Chris Dennett is quite high up there, and it's a live backdrop that he has there. But actually, the best backdrop this morning belongs to Francis Prendeville, who is sitting there in Kendal. That is a photograph of him with a friend back. Is it in Liverpool? Did you say, Francis?
It's on the Mersey. Yeah, you can see the cathedrals in the background there. Me and my mate Ron, 1970 September.
Looking stylish, dapper, on the Raz, cigarette in the mouth.
Yeah,
just looking very happy as well. It's a fantastic. Yeah. I'm just trying to guess which one you are, Francis. I'm guessing you're the one. There you go, with the fag in his mouth.
Yeah, no, I'm the other one.
Oh, the other one. Okay,
that's me.
Okay.
Yeah, with the glasses.
All right, now, Francis, you're on this morning because you are a writer as well as doing a bit of teaching over the years, and you've got some workshops coming up as well. So we've got 1 or 2 slides to share as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about yourself first of all, and then we've got about 7 minutes to go through what you're doing.
Yeah. So I was a teacher in Manchester primary schools, then an advisory teacher. I got into using drama as a way to teach, not theatre, not performance, but in the classroom drama, no script. And that became my career. And I went to start teaching at Lancaster University, teaching undergraduates there, teaching teachers. And then I retired from that and started writing. And I'd already done some writing about drama while I was working, some non-fiction, but then I got into fiction and did a sort of a kind of highly autobiographical view of drama in Manchester, and that came out a couple of years ago. And I'm really interested in the process of writing and how it comes about and how we do it. So yeah, I'm doing a course all day on the 20th of June from 11 till 5 p.m. at the Brewery Arts Centre, and I sort of start with the idea that writing is messy. I think that's where I start, my starting point, because there's a bit of a fallacy really that certainly in writing that the notion that art is about having a clear cut intention and then confidently executing that intention. Well, the truth, of course, is more mysterious, and that's what that's my starting point really at for the workshop. Let's explore this mystery. So yeah, writing is messy, and you can see on the screen there a bit of an early draft, Conan Doyle, with his Hound of the Baskervilles, and a quote. My first draft usually has only a few elements worth keeping. I think can we go to the first slide, Iona? Yeah. So and that's quite an interesting thing. I only keep a little bit of it, and you can see in the slide there things crossed out. Can we go to the next slide? Thanks, Iona. So here's another bit of messy writing. This one is Keats' Ode to Autumn. Loads of lovely crossing out, which is quite heartwarming, really, as a writer to see, because you tend to see the end product, don't you? It's a bit like theatre, and you see the show, the play, but you rarely see the process. So we're having a look at the process of writing here, and of course there's that famous the only kind of writing is rewriting, Hemingway. And the next slide, Iona. And here's a really messy one from somebody who is sort of profoundly elegant in his writing, Marcel Proust. And I just love this one because look at it. There's a lot of mucking about there, a lot of messing about to get there. And also, I like the Nabokov quote that I have rewritten often several times every word I have ever published. My pencils outlast their erasers. So that kind of, that sums it up. And so my starting point then, because I have a background in drama and a bit of theatre, the first thing we're going to look at in the workshop is a photograph, genuine photograph, and we look at it in a certain way, certain framework, which is what do we know, what can we absolutely agree about in this photograph, what do we think we know, hypotheses, what do we think's happening, how they look, and then finally, if we met them, what would we want to ask? And I guess that's the point at which I use the drama idea and sort of enroll the group with a viewpoint, either as very wealthy Victorians who are keen to help the poor children on the streets, or possibly a journalist, and then say to them, okay, if you met the man with the lamp, and here is a lamp, can you see? Oh, it's vanished in the. That's interesting, isn't it? The background has made it invisible.
I'm going to imagine that lamp.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a carbide lamp, just like that. So if we met the guy who was called Edward Fitzgerald, what would we want to ask him? And it's that interactive element that I'm interested in for writers. If we play around with the same time and space and talk to each other, with me taking a role in this interaction, what kind of writing will that generate? And so from there we look at phrases, words, whatever, and share those, and then go back to the photograph and interview one of the kids. And in that way we can look at the sort of value sets behind the people in that photograph, and examine that, and then take that to our writing, where we begin the sort of the messy process of then editing it, and through further sort of active strategies, collaborative approaches and discussions, we can adjust the writing, then produce a piece, a paragraph or whatever, and then begin that interesting idea of changing it and throwing stuff away. And I'm really interested in George Saunders. I don't know if you've come across George Saunders, American short story writer and teacher, and his idea of, well, he calls it repetitive, obsessive, iterative application preferences. In other words, you change things, you rewrite it, you scrub out the bits that aren't working. I mean, he has a lovely analogy, a VU meter. On one side you have a P, positive, on the other side you have an N, negative, and you reread your own pieces and try to read them as if you were reading for the first time, and the VU meter, the needle goes across, yeah, that's working, I like that, that isn't working, and then you scrub it out. So that's the kind of the idea behind the way of working, and if you combine that interactive living through, me using a role for different characters and shifting it and changing it and trying different things out, then we produce stuff that we can whittle down to something we're satisfied with and happy
All right,
with.
Francis, I'm just going to draw you to a conclusion. Iona's put a link into the event at the brewery. Remind us, is it tomorrow?
No, it's a week on Saturday, on the
week on
20th.
Saturday.
Yeah, at Brewery Arts.
And is it all day, or is it just a morning or an afternoon?
It's 11 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, yeah.
Okay, I love that Nabokov quote that you put up there. And I happen to be just coming to the end of Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway as well. I've never read any Hemingway before,
right?
Because I've just been to Northern Italy, and it's really interesting to sort of see his short sentences and the way, and you think all the stuff he scribbled out to get to that novel. I'm thinking about that slightly differently now as a result of your talk this morning. So thank you for that. Sounds great. Thank you very much indeed. And editing it's all in the editing and so much in art, isn't it? And as Pete says there, a lot of drafts are lost to computers these days. I have notebooks with scribbles and crossing outs and that I carry in my jacket pocket in case of inspiration calls. I've often tried to have a notebook on me at all times, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I do make notes on my phone all the time about stuff, and that's, I suppose, a modern way of having a notebook. But actually, really what I'd like is a notebook to carry around all the time. Maybe I should change that as well. Thank you very much, Francis. As Derek said, what a remarkably varied and inspiring session this morning. Thank you to all contributors. Thank you to Meg and to Hayue and to Kate and to Maddie here at ArtGene, and Liz and Felicity across there at Signal, to Lee and Louis at Newcastle, Brougham Hall, and to Francis there in Kendal. We've got across the county and the north of England actually quite a bit as well. So that's been great. Next week, by the way, we're going to hear a bit about the launch of this cultural survey that's going on, which is a big sort of high-level piece of work being done by some of the Arts Council funded organisations in Cumbria to help advocate on behalf of the sector for ahead of the mayoral elections basically next year, and to try and put culture on the agenda as far as what the priorities for the county is concerned. So that survey is launching imminently. We're going to hear from another Carlisle Writers' Fair is coming up in the autumn. And Steve Wharton has got an interesting project that I remember Steve, he's done all sorts of interesting things. He's going to come on and talk to us next week as well. So that's in the pipeline on the slipway for next week so far, but no doubt other things will come along as well. Thank you to ArtGene for hosting this morning. I'm going to go and look at the cacti and enjoy the geraniums. And thank you for all your company this morning. It's great to see you all and catch you again sometime soon. Have a great weekend.